And we are back after a week and a half, 2 week absence with Ball Around the Head, second round edition. We just finished, or the NBA just finished an excellent Game 7, full of a lot of mistakes.
And timeouts.
Wasn't the greatest Game 7 finish. Both of them were pretty terrible, actually. But what were you guys' overall thoughts on the first round?
I learned that the East has 4 good teams and the West has at least 8.
I guess that's a way to put it. I thought the first round was relatively expected. Everything. I think I got kind of all the predictions for the teams, not the games though. I was excited about 2 Game 7s and just in the first round. So hopefully there'll be more.
Yeah, kind of like what Ben said. The Eastern Conference, like day 1 of the playoffs was pretty good. It was very good basketball to watch. And then there were a lot of bad basketball blowouts. It just wasn't fun to watch. In the East, especially, the Magic surprised everyone Game 1, but then just got destroyed the next 4 games. The Heat just demolished the Pacers, Celtics demolished the Sixers, and the Raptors demolished the Nets. So it wasn't really fun. The West just had 2 Game 7s. The Lakers Trailblazers series not that intense. The Game 1 was that the rest were kind of blowouts, and the Clippers Mavericks was actually really, really good TV. That was really fun to watch.
Porzingis got hurt in that one.
Oh yeah,
and I'm one of the believers that if Porzingis was healthy, they at least could have forced a Game 7. That's just me.
Yeah.
And we all made fun of Ben, who thought the Mavericks could win, and they very well could have. It was very, very close. But yeah, with the first round over, and by the way, if you guys have any comments or any questions, leave them in the comment section. We will answer them as soon as we can. But as of right now, we're going to move on to the second round. The Eastern Conference has played 2 games each, but we're going to give our original predictions before these 2 games occurred. And then if we want to alter our predictions, we'll say that after. So first up, we're going to go with the 1-5 matchup in the Miami Heat and the Milwaukee Bucks. Miami is currently up 2-0. The Miami also won the season series 2-1. Who do you guys have winning, and in how many games?
So at first I had the Bucks winning in 6, but I really feel like Miami could probably win in 5, honestly, because I just see the stroke at the 3. I mean, Miami is just shooting the lights out. I mean, they're on fire. And I'm not trying to make a pun here because of the Heat, but, they can really shoot the 3, and they can also minimize the Bucks' 3-point shots too. So, as you saw, Chris Middleton, he missed his shot at the end of the game today. So, yeah, Heat in 5.
I also had the Bucks in 6 going into this series, but the Heat have surprised me, as I'm sure they've surprised many others. They're getting contributions from a lot of guys. Obviously, Jimmy Butler's he played well in Game 1. He didn't have to play well today. Hero's been showing up. But I'll say Heat in 6 as of now for what it's looking like. I still think the Bucks are a better team, and the series is by no means over. But since the Heat took the first 2, I got to give the edge to the Heat.
Yeah, I have strong feelings about today's game. I really don't like how the refs put it in their hands to finish the game, because it's actually a pretty good game near the end, the turnover and all that, and then the 2 straight foul calls, which they won by on a free throw, kind of like the All-Star game. It's just not as fun as, But the Heat have outplayed them. I originally had Bucks in 6 as well, but the Heat have just outplayed them, and they make the Bucks look like an average team right now. Giannis is getting criticized, and I'm going to criticize him too. If he's the MVP and he just won Defensive Player of the Year, they asked him a question the other day saying, did you ask Coach to guard Jimmy Butler down the line? And he said no. And everyone on Twitter, Instagram are just flaming him, because if you're the Defensive Player of the Year, and this is what Jimmy Butler did today, if the opposing star is going off, you want to guard them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the coach says. And you have all these stories of everybody ever. Every legend has said, Coach, put me on, blah, blah, blah. I want to guard him. Patrick Beverley, I'm not saying he's a legend, but last year he wanted to guard Kevin Durant because Kevin Durant was going off. Kawhi is guaranteed wanting to guard the best player because they're going off. And Giannis doesn't look like the MVP right now. And the Bucks around him are not helping him. And it's mainly the Heat, and we'll get to that a little later. But right now, I think I might have to go with Miami in 6. I don't think it's going to be a sweep because Milwaukee was the best team in the NBA this year. It's not going to be an easy step over. Goran Dragic is freaking amazing right now. He's definitely improving his stock of free agency. Right now the Heat are obviously the better team, and it's going to be very interesting to watch if the Bucks go down 3-0. If it's very possible the way the Bucks are playing, who knows?
Just to add on Goran Dragic real quick. I never expected he's probably the Heat's third or second star right now because I don't really think Bam Adebayo is kind of, in my opinion, underperforming offensively, defensively, and as far as getting rebounds. I mean, he's a monster. He's Bam Adebayo, all-star, straight from the Bayou, Bam Adebayo. I think that was what his all-star thing was. I don't know, but Goran Dragic's he's blowing my mind every time he plays, and he reminds me of myself sometimes. So, pretty good player.
Going back to Giannis, he's getting criticism, I think, in part because he hasn't proved himself in the playoffs yet. I mean, I personally think, the Bucks are a very win by committee oriented team. They get contributions from a lot of guys. So I think it's in the spirit of that team for Giannis to just say, okay, I'm going to listen to coach. We're united in this. We have a plan. I'm not going to go away from that. But when you haven't shown up as much as he has in the playoffs, you're going to get criticized like that, whether it's fair or not.
Yeah, you're right.
Good point.
LeBron is a person who could easily say that, and he can say that because he's won championships. And like you said, Giannis had a 2-0 lead in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's the best he's ever done. That's it. We have a question from Elijah Ruda. Shout out to him. It's 12 o'clock in Florida right now. What a guy. He asked, how satisfied were you that Brandon Ingram got named most improved? Andrew?
I'm a really big Luka Doncic fan, but I do think that Brandon Ingram, that's how you pronounce it, Brandon Ingram deserves most improved player. Only reason I don't think it's Luka Doncic is because he's already that good. He's not improving. He did improve, but he's just the same animal, different beast. You know what I mean? Brandon Ingram, he went from 16 points to 28 points, I'm pretty sure. He's really just adapted well to New Orleans. He was the defining factor in that entire Lakers-New Orleans trade for obvious reasons. So I think it was definitely deserved, over Bam Adebayo and Luka Doncic. So, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Ingram was my pick for most improved as well.
Yeah, I kind of agree with both of them as well. Ingram was I think it was a 4-vote differential, though. It was actually kind of a close voting system. Like Andrew said, Doncic is already a lottery pick. He was very good last year. He kind of just took a developmental growth, not really a huge step forward. So he shouldn't have won. Bam Adebayo has been good, but Brandon Ingram put up insane numbers. When Zion came back, everyone thought, oh, he's going to start being bad again. And he kept it up, and he was pretty good. So I think it was very well deserved. So we're going to go back to the playoffs. Thank you for that question. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment, and we will answer them as soon as we can. We're going to go with the Raptors and Celtics. So far, the Celtics are up 2-0, and in the season, the Celtics won the season series 3-1. What were you guys' original predictions, and did you change them?
My original prediction was Celtics in 6. Now, I'll admit that I didn't formulate that prediction until midway through Game 1, but I'm sticking with that prediction. The Celtics have been playing great. The Raptors, they have to get more from Pascal Siakam if they want to win this series. But I think they will step up eventually, definitely get a game or two. So I'm going to keep Celtics in 6.
Yeah, real quick, I just have to agree about Pascal Siakam, kind of underperforming. But I'm going to take the Raptors in 6, actually, because not in 6. They're already down 2. I'm going to take the Raptors in 7 because, I was gonna try and look up their record in the playoffs last year and see if they were down 2-0. I didn't really have time to do that, but they're NBA champions. They're experienced enough. The Celtics have only Celtics with Jason Tatum have only gotten to the Western Conference Finals. So they right, Daniel, Western Conference Finals.
Eastern.
LeBron, same difference, man. But I still think the Raptors just have that experience, and I actually think, as far as player-wise, the Raptors have a lot of role players, while the Celtics have about 5 or 6 rotation players, in my opinion. So, I just think the Raptors championship experience in 7. Raptors in 7.
Well, I originally had the Celtics in 6, and I'm actually still going to keep the Celtics in 6 because the Raptors are the defending champions. Last year in the Eastern Conference Finals, they were down 2-0 to the Bucks. The Bucks and the Celtics are 2 different monsters, though. The Raptors. I'm going to get into the Raptors struggle a little later in the show, but the Raptors right now don't seem like they match up well with the Celtics, and the Celtics have blown them out 2 out of 3 times so far. They played in the bubble. Again, I'm going to get into that a little later. But yeah, right now I just think the Celtics are overall the better team. The Celtics have yet to lose a playoff game. So yeah, I'm going to stick with Celtics in 6. We have a couple comments.
And we'll go more into detail about the Celtics-Raptors matchup later, probably.
Without Kawhi, they aren't the same Raptors they were last year. That's true, but at the same time, they have a better winning percentage this year. They just have the Coach of the Year. I think they don't have that one player in the playoffs that can take over games. They should have been Pascal Siakam, but like they said, Pascal Siakam has not been playing like that. Neither is Kyle Lowry or Fred VanVleet, and we'll get to that again a little later. But even though they're not the same and they lack that closer, they're still a really good team, really good at defense. But yeah.
Nice. Oh, yeah. Oh, Kawhi. I don't think Kawhi really would have made that big of a difference in the Raptors playoff run this year. Not because it's Kawhi, not only is he overrated, but just because the Raptors, their players have developed without Kawhi. They played half the season without Kawhi. They played the bubble without Kawhi, and Pascal Siakam has emerged as probably NBA future first leaguer or first teamer. Kyle Lowry's kind of using more of his influence. I don't know how to describe it. More of a leadership role because he's aging. Fred VanVleet, definitely one of my favorite players. Just can't pronounce his name. I think the Raptors just have, they've learned to develop without Kawhi, and a lot of their players have stepped up. OG Anunoby, he's pretty good too.
Bro, you mixed Manu Ginobili with OG Anunoby right there. That was next level. I like it. I think I made this point earlier, and I agree with Elijah on this. It's very hard for me to say that the Raptors are a better team this year than they were last year. I said this in an earlier stream because they lost Kawhi Leonard, one of the top 5 players in the game, I'd say, and they did not get back a star of any kind. Sure, they're very deep and they do have a better record this year, but you're seeing in playoff time they need that one guy who's gonna take over games late. So, can Siakam be that guy? I think he can, but he's gonna have to show it first.
A key example of missing that guy to go too late was literally last game, and they had a chance to tie the game, and Fred VanVleet shot a horrible shot at the buzzer, and it wasn't even close. And that's something. At the same time, the coach did have a timeout, and for some reason, coaches don't like calling timeouts in the bubble anymore. I don't understand that quite yet, but it happened tonight and happened yesterday. I don't know why they don't do it, and both times they lost, so maybe that's a sign. So there's the Eastern Conference. I believe we almost all have the Celtics.
I have Raptors.
And you had the Heat, Ben, right?
I have the Heat now, yeah.
So the majority would have been Celtics versus Heat next round, which is something no one ever predicted going into the season, which would be very good basketball. But we're going to switch over to the Western Conference playoffs. And we're going to start first with the Clippers and the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets just came off a Game 7 win in a not so pretty basketball game, kind of a 1970 score with an 80-78, I believe, final. But
it was just good defense. It was really good defense.
Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray, that was one of the best first-round matchups we've seen in a long time. That was really good play and I believe we all agreed that this was a first-round series we didn't care about. And it turned out to be the best first-round series. So kudos to them. But now they're facing the Clippers, who are, I think they've been on rest for maybe 5 days or something like that. Patrick Beverley could come back. So what are you guys' predictions for the Clippers and the Nuggets?
That point about the Clippers being out 5 games and the Nuggets just had a game 7, that's something to consider. But, I really don't see the Clippers losing to the Nuggets, especially with Pandemic P, Kawhi Leonard, Lou Williams. That's a dream team. So I think the Clippers will get the Nuggets in 6.
I also don't think the Nuggets have enough to take down the Clippers. And that shows you I'm not impartial just because I'm a Clippers hater. Jamal Murray's obviously been balling out lately, but they have a lot of bodies they can throw at him, and no one else on the Nuggets has really been stepping up. They're going to need Jokic to be their best player if they have any chance, I think, because they have so many bodies they can throw at Murray, from George to Leonard to Beverley if he's healthy. And so I have the Clippers in 5.
Daniel?
I agree with Ben. I think the Jazz would have given a little better matchup. They're not winning, but I believe that it would have been maybe 6. But I think the Clippers just overmatch the Nuggets right now. Like we said, we just have Jokic who can make buckets, but he's not really a guy you go to late to create his own shot and, that kind of shooter. Jamal Murray, all his career has been very inconsistent. I'm going to get a little bit more on that later. But the Clippers, I feel, it made a lot of NBA fans question if they're NBA championship contenders, including me, who I predicted to make the NBA championship. But I still think they're very capable. Paul George, he's very, 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 very struggled this postseason so far. He had 1 good game, I believe. But I believe he'll bounce back. The Nuggets still need a guy like Will Barton, who without. They just got back Gary Harris, and he made a clutch defensive play in Game 7. But, I think it's going to be an easy 5 games for the Clippers.
One thing I forgot to mention is that Kawhi's been amazingly consistent in the first round. He's scored between 29 and 36 points in all 6 of the first round games. What you're going to get from him.
Exactly. That's a good point.
And nobody on the Nuggets will ever match up with Kawhi offensively and maybe even defensively. So this is actually. Oh wait, we have a comment. Is it a question? Off topic, but what's the score of the Thunder game right now? The Thunder lost. They lost on a turnover at the end of the game. Yeah. So my favorite
first score.
It was I don't know. They lost by 1, I believe. 2. That's all I know.
The score was 104 to 102 Rockets.
So this is going to be my favorite second round series to watch. Maybe not complaining wise, if you know what I mean, but I think it's going to be some decent basketball. I feel like the refs might need earplugs, and it's not an opinion. It's kind of a fact. There's no denying it. But I'm going to go first on this one real quick.
Okay.
Last series, I was a little I still picked the Lakers, but I thought that potentially the Blazers could win. And deep down, I thought they could, but they got destroyed. I actually think that the Lakers are going to win this one. I think they're going to win in 6, though. I don't think it's to be as if they face Oklahoma City. I thought it'd be a very quick series for that. But I think OKC, and if doesn't match up with them. But if you look at the screen, Houston won the season series 2-1. Although one game I believe was without LeBron, so basically it was 1-1. But with the Houston small ball, you don't know what to expect. They can
That's
go
true.
27 of 45 from 3 one night, and then go 4 for 47 from 3 one night, and you don't know what you're going to get. But AD's going to have a series, and if he doesn't have a good series, they're screwed. This is his series to shine. Like, he has the size advantage over all of them. LeBron struggled his first couple games, but he definitely picked up to LeBron playoff level near the final 4 or 3, I believe. But my problem if I'm the Laker fan is how are we going to stop Harden? Because right now, and maybe Rondo gets back, but Rondo is getting up there in age, and he's not as good as he used to be.
He's not even good at defense. I'll just say it right now. Rondo is not good at defense.
Green, and if they double team, which is a very real possibility, they did that with Damian Lillard a lot, which I predicted was going to happen. They still got Eric Gordon, who's been inconsistent, but he had a good Game 7 right now. So I can see the series go to the Houston's way only if they shoot exceptional. Keyword only if. But even if they have a below 40% three-point night, I think it's an easy advance for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Ben?
Last series I said the Lakers were going to win in 6. They won in 5. They're exceeding my expectations here. So, Andrew, what's your name in this stream?
Do you want to just show that real quick for the fans? Lakers in 4.
That's right, Andrew. So,
where's my phone?
I disagree that they don't have answers for Harden. I mean, are you forgetting Danny Green and KCP are great wing defenders. We have good defenders all over the floor, and when you come inside, you're going to get met by Davis, McGee, and Dwight Howard. So the only issue I can see is obviously if they have their small 5 lineup and if we have 2 bigs. But that's a simple adjustment. I think you can have 1 big down in the paint as a shot blocker. Going to be Davis for most of the game. Play McGee a bit less. I think they did that in the regular season. He set out a game against the Rockets. And like you said, Davis is going to dominate all series. They have no one who can guard him. So, yeah, Lakers in 4.
Yeah, I just have to – first off, Lakers in 4. I mean, Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard, and JaVale McGee. I mean, those are the 3 names that I was going to mention. Ben, of course, as a Laker fan, we you know what I mean? So we think the same, right? So, yeah, the small ball Rockets have no answer for the paint. I could say that the Rockets, if they start shooting willy-nilly, and they go crazy when they shoot willy-nilly, that's the only time I can see them beating the Lakers. But, I mean, LeBron's on a mission, and I've been on a mission too. I mean, if I can just move the camera right here. Oh, yeah. What is that right here? I went on a mission in my 10th grade season. Right here. Most improved. So, yeah, I've been on a mission. So, yeah, Lakers and foul.
You guys both think the Lakers are going to sweep the Rockets?
Yep.
Really? They can.
The Lakers are exceeding
5 to the Trailblazers, but they're going to sweep the Rockets.
Yep.
You know what they say? AC time. Isn't that what it's always been? It's AC time.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I think you guys should be very surprised. I'm just going to say the first day when they traded Clint Capella and everyone's like, oh, no, 80's dropping, whatever, 400 tonight. The Lakers lost that game. Just want to say that.
We'll see.
We'll see. So on that note, so wait, I'm going to go back a little bit. So majority, I believe we both believe, so what everyone else thought all NBA season, we believe that it's going to be the Clippers-Lakers conference finals. That's what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be very interesting. That's going to be a very long stream to discuss. So we're to go to the most competitive second round series. What do you guys believe it will be?
I think even though this series is currently at 2-0, I think both of the Western Conference series will be relatively short. I have the Celtics and Raptors. I think the Raptors could potentially bounce back in this one. This is one where I have going 6. We could see a 7-game series. Andrew predicted a 7-game series, so I don't know why you're looking at me funny. But yeah, Celtics Raptors.
I'm going to stay in the East as well, but I'll have to move up north in the East, and that is, I think Milwaukee's up north. I don't know, but I'm going to say, Miami's south. I don't know, man. But Bucks and Miami, I'm going to say that's going to be the most competitive second round series, just because the series not over. The Heat are up 2-0, just like the Celtics, but I think with the Bucks adjustments and how they just played the game 1 and game 2. They're going to learn from their mistakes and they're going to have to adjust. And Giannis is going to have to step up, and he will because Kobe. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit emotional here, but Kobe taught Giannis everything, like a lot of things. So Giannis is going to have that Mamba mentality for game 3 through 7 because it's going to 7.
I like both of you.
But the Heat will win. So
I like both of you guys' answer, and it's very right. I believe that both series, and as a Celtics fan, I'll get to this a little later, I don't think the Raptors are out of it just because we're up 2-0. They were down 2-0 in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they're very well coached. And with the Bucks, I believe the Bucks will bounce back. But this is why I a little agreed with you last topic. I have the Rockets and Lakers being the most competitive series because I'm going to take the word competitive quite literal. I feel like Tucker's going to get into a couple scuffles with a bunch of Laker players, and I feel like Westbrook's going to get it. And like I said, I joked, but not really. The refs are going to get involved quite a lot. I feel like there'll be at least 6 technicals handed out in this series. It's going to be a full-on bloodbath. And the Rockets, keep in mind, the Rockets are very close to blowing everything up, and it's been hinted multiple times. If they don't get a championship in the next couple of years, bye-bye Harden, bye-bye Westbrook. They need to retool because this roster's not working. And this is their best chance because odds are Mike D'Antoni's leaving this year. They haven't renewed his contract, and it's kind of been hinted that if they don't succeed, he's gone. So the Rockets are playing for everything right now, and they could have technically just lost the first-round series. And, again, I still think the Lakers could win, but I think competitive-wise, I think it's going to be – and if the Lakers win, I don't see a lot of blowouts this series. That's what I'm trying to get at. I feel like there'll be a lot of close games. There's going to be some nights I believe Harden's going to shoot 2 of 18 or 10 of 22 like he did tonight or something like that. But I think, in my opinion, the most competitive series will be the Rockets and the Lakers.
I mean, it's pretty hard to be competitive in 4 games, but okay.
I agree with you on the chippiness, though.
I took the question literal, and I feel like it's not really. We have a suggestion from our fan favorite. He says the Clippers and Nuggets will be very competitive.
Just kick them off, man. Just no. I mean, real quick, that's interesting because if Jamal Murray, they already brought his girlfriend. Why he has no incentive to play. So I don't really know. They have to bring he has to get a second girlfriend, and they have to times 2 for the second round. That's the only way he can drop 50 twice again. But I don't know if this would be competitive because the Clippers' defense is just very, very strong. So Jamal Murray's going to get clamped.
All right, so we're going to move on. Again, because it's only Eli doing it. If anyone else is watching this, feel free to comment anything. We'll answer your question as soon as we can. We're going to go to a topic that I saved for later, and we're going to go with the Raptors are currently down 2-0 in the series, and it has not been pretty for Toronto so far. They could have won last game, but the stats did not go in their favor, to be honest with you. So do you guys believe the Raptors' struggles will continue?
Ben?
This is a tough one. I don't think they will. The thing is, they need Siakam to be more than he's been, and they, because they get a lot of points from their bench and stuff. So I think because their last game was relatively close, wasn't it?
I mean, it was one shot. It was just Fred VanVleet brick. So.
Yeah. So I don't know if you could say they struggled that much in the last game, but I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say that the Raptors will right the ship a little bit.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with Ben because the Raptors know what their problem is right now, and it's that Marc Gasol's old AF and he cannot rebound, and he's getting bodied by Daniel Tice, literally demolished in the paint. He cannot rebound, and then also Pascal Siakam's just underperforming. And it's not. I don't blame Pascal Siakam. It's his first playoff series, without. I don't want to say it, but Hall of Famer Kawhi Leonard. So Yeah, Pascal Siakam, he's going to have to step up, and he definitely knows he's going to have to step up. But I think the Raptors' plan is going to have to get Kyle Lowry involved in these earlier games, just because he has that experience, that veteran experience. He's been to the conference finals with DeRozan or DeMar, so they were at the conference finals, weren't they, against the Cavaliers? But they've been far in the playoffs. Kyle Lowry, that is. So I don't think they're going to continue, but if Pascal Siakam is just scared of the spotlight or scared of the bubble light or scared of the gym light, I don't know what light they're under in the bubble. Yeah, that's a problem.
Well, it seems like for every topic recently, me and you guys won't agree, but I believe yes, and I'm going to explain this. I have a Celtics group with Peach Basket, the site I write for, and we discussed how the Celtics destroyed the Raptors in Game 1. And then in the bubble game before that, they destroyed them as well. So we assumed, like, okay, the Raptors just aren't on the Celtics level, but be cautious because it's the Raptors. They're defending champs. Then they lose again after having, I believe, like a 12-point lead in the fourth quarter or something like that. Yeah, I think it was a 12-point lead. And it makes you wonder, do the Celtics just have the Raptors number? Because in the playoffs, people like to assume teams advance because everyone wants to see the Milwaukee Bucks and the Toronto Raptors fight it off in the Eastern Conference playoffs. But the playoffs are all about matchups. I'm going to be honest, if the Bucks played the Celtics right now, odds are the Celtics would be losing the series right now. And if Toronto played Miami, who knows? Maybe Toronto will be winning. But that's not what's happening. And there's a very good chance now that Miami and Boston is going to face off in the conference finals, which is insane to me. But I don't know which one of you guys said Kyle Lowry should get more involved. I think it was Andrew.
Yeah.
I'm add on that. One of the reasons why they're losing is Kyle Lowry has not been good. He is not. In this series, he is 10 of 28 from the field. And that's not good. Last game, I believe Fred VanVleet was 8 of 22 from the field. And Nick Nurse complained post-game that when Smart stripped Pascal Siakam, he quote-unquote fouled the shit out of him. And I don't know if you guys know this, but after every game, the NBA reviews the final 2 minutes of every game and determines if there's a foul or a missed call. The 2-minute report came out today, and it was clean. The refs got every call right in the final 2 minutes. And if you look at the replay, he was not fouled at all. So Nick Nurse was blaming the refs a lot when I just looked on Twitter and Raptor fans were just saying, we just lost. Stop blaming the refs. It was all our fault. We shot horribly, and we keep on shooting horribly. Like you guys have mentioned before, Pascal Siakam is not playing like an all-star. I'm watching the games, and I'm saying, let this dude shoot. He's not making it, and he misses it. The only chances he makes them are over Jaylen Brown in the post, which is a side advantage. And my key thing, I'm going on this because it's a Celtics camp. We have to talk about Celtics. Kemba Walker and Jason Tatum have struggled in Game 1 and Game 2, respectively. And the Celtics won both of them. Kemba Walker was horrible last game, except for the fourth quarter, and the Celtics still won. Marcus Smart went Super Saiyan mode in the fourth quarter, and that was one of the greatest experiences I've ever witnessed in my life. The dude just could not miss, and that's the main reason why literally the reason they won. And Marcus Smart, if he averages 10-plus this series, every single game he has to have 10-plus, and he can make those wide-open threes because the Raptors are letting Smart beat them. You can see the defense. They're letting Smart beat them. I think easily the Celtics – so I think the Raptors' cycles continue. I also can see them come back because they are defending champions. You got to pay respect. But I wouldn't be shocked if this is this is a quicker series than most believe. So
yeah, and I'm gonna just jump on that real quick. I hate to admit it, but the Celtics have a really good starting team and kind of two off the bench almost, 2 rotation players. Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker, Daniel Tice, Jason Tatum, Fat Kyrie. So they got a couple players on their team. Jason Tatum specifically is 21-34. He's going to go – I predict that Jason Tatum will have a 40-point kind of will his team off the back against the Raptors in one of these games just because he's that good of a player. He's Jason – I don't know his middle name – Tatum.
Yeah. You got to give the Celtics credit, man. they have not lost in these playoffs. And for one of the top seeds in the East, they had a tricky matchup in the Sixers in terms of, the drop off is from 6 to 7 basically in the East. And they just swept them. Like Joel Embiid couldn't do anything about it. And like you said, Jason Tatum's been showing up like he did last year in the playoffs. So.
And the thing I want to add real quick before we move on to the next one, this is all happening without Gordon Hayward.
Who's
averaging 17 points per game on 50+% shooting, which I was one when Hayward went down. I was very skeptical we'd make it past the second round, let alone win 2 games. And the Celtics are just next man up right now, and it's really, really fun to see. So we're going to switch the subject to which team do you guys think is most likely to upset in round 2?
Well, I'll say in terms of strictly an upset, then the Celtics. You got the 3-2 matchup, but we might not consider that an upset because people probably are split between the Raptors and the Celtics. People probably think it's going to be a great game. Not many people, on the other hand, had the Heat, and judging by the first 2 games, they're up 2-0. And they've got a really good chance to upset the Bucks. So I'll say the Heat.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with the Heat. Just because, mentioned earlier, the Heat's defense, especially on just the perimeter, the Bucks perimeter in Game 2 specifically, because the Bucks kind of, they were hitting some clutch shots in Game 1, but the Heat defense is proven to be lethal against the Bucks. And we said earlier in a couple streams like which team was to stop the Bucks, and specifically Giannis. I'm pretty sure we all predicted the Heat would be the Bucks stoppers or the Raptors. And I can see the Bucks. Actually, I don't even see the Bucks beating the Heat, because the Heat's. I said they were going to win in 7 earlier, but I really meant 5. I just have a thick accent. So, Giannis is kind of trolling. Like, he had 18 points last game. So, and his defense, when they were inbounding the ball today with 7.7 on the clock, they were inbounding the ball. Giannis is sitting there. Who is throwing it in? I don't even remember who's throwing it, but he's not guarding Jimmy Butler, who he got the rebound. He got the ball when they threw it in. He was sitting there jumping up and down like CJ. We had CJ do that. We threw CJ there. Giannis is not supposed to be sitting there watching the ball. He has to be on Jimmy Butler, but he'll do good. He'll be fine.
I'm interested in why they haven't put Giannis on Jimmy Butler yet, because they're down 2-0 now, and I think I would be shocked if Giannis does not guard Jimmy Butler next game for most of the possessions. I feel like that'd be the smartest thing to do. He just won Defensive Player of the Year, so go prove it. Yeah.
Wait, real quick. Oh, sorry. Were you continuing? My bad.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that Giannis, if you're listening, which I know you are, you got to pick up a basketball and dribble, man. You got to pick up Jimmy Butler. He's dribbling in his room and he's balling out on you, man. Pick up a ball and dribble in your room.
Well, a counterpoint to that is that Jimmy Butler is not who beat them in Game 2.
Not Game 2. Definitely Game 1 when he dropped 40. But
so you could say that
he kind of did beat them, but I know what you mean.
Well, yeah,
yeah, I figured.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah. And that's scary if you're I believe the announcer said on ESPN, if you're the Bucks, Jimmy Butler had one of his worst games in the playoffs, and they still won. So that's a little so I'm going to agree with you guys. I think the most likely upsets would be the Heat. Even before they were up 2-0, even if a lot of people were questioning if the Heat's success in the regular season would go into the playoffs because the Giannis, quote unquote, would become a different beast. He has definitely become worse of a beast than he was in the regular season. And the Heat, I'm going to get into the more analytical side later, but the Heat have slowed him down. So I think the most likely, and I believe the upset that will occur, will be the Heat over the Milwaukee Bucks. So in round 1, there's been a lot of players that made a name for themselves, and we asked who would be the breakout player in round 1. My brother brought up Luka Doncic, and we're all like, no. Luka Doncic was a breakout player in round 1. He was really good. Jamal Murray, which was never on any of our lists, he was a breakout player. Donovan
Yeah.
Mitchell, etc. All those players. There was a bunch of players that just
Chris
broke
Paul.
in the first. Chris Paul. There was just a bunch of players. So in round 2, who do you guys believe will break out?
Go ahead, Andrew.
2 letters, AD, because I really just see his size advantage. He's one of the only players in the game who's 7 foot, can go cross country, dunk the ball, shoot the 3. Well, maybe not shoot the 3, but the size advantage against the small ball Rockets. He dominates the paint almost every game. Not last probably 4 or 5 games ago in the playoffs, like one of the earlier Blazers games, he kind of trolled in the paint, but I just think AD is going to have to prove himself as a Laker because the entire season, everyone's saying AD's a Robin to his Batman. They're not Robin and Batman. They're Shark Boy and Lava Grill. You know what I mean? They're a team. They're duos.
Did you just call LeBron James and Anthony Davis Shark Boy and Lava Girl?
I really couldn't think of a duo with this equal kind of relative power. But, he's not a Robin player. He's Anthony Davis. He, on the Pelicans, he underperformed in the playoffs, obviously. That's because he was a developing player. He didn't even have his teeth fixed. He's now in LA. He's looking sharp. He has his commercials with the bank or official credit union of the Lakers. So, AD.
Now that we're in the second round, there's a lot of established stars. The best player on every team is someone we know what they can do. So I'm going to go with someone who needs to play well and needs to do better in order for their team to have any success. And I was thinking of Pascal Siakam, but I'm actually going to go with Nikola Jokic. All eyes are going to be on Jamal Murray after what he did in round 1. But the Clippers, like I said, they have great perimeter defenders. Not that their interior defense is bad, but certainly their strength is on the perimeter. And Nikola Jokic, if the Nuggets are to have any chance, he has to be their best player. He has to be ball dominant, making passes in the post and Euro steps and spin hook shots like he can do. So that's my pick.
I like both your picks, and I agree with you. If Nikola Jokic shows up, to be a lot more competitive series, as Elijah's been spamming the comments about the Nuggets these past couple of minutes. Elijah believes Jamal Murray will be the breakout star. We'll get into that actually next topic. But right now, for the breakout star, Ben picked someone who should perform better. Andrew picked someone who is established but should very well break out. I'm going to go on Andrew's side a little bit, but I'm going to go with the star on the other locker room in LA. I'm going to go with Kawhi Leonard. And as Ben touched on earlier, Kawhi Leonard had probably the best first round out of everyone in the playoffs, but no one's talking about it because of all the stars that rise. Kawhi Leonard in round 1 had 32 points per game, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, which are all career highs in the playoffs for him, all career highs. He shot 53% from the field and averaged 2.3 steals per game. And Kawhi he goes on the court and handles business. He doesn't go out there, does the fancy crossovers, all that stuff. He has a job and he gets it done. So people like Doncic, who had a buzzer beater and had all these crazy passes, and like we said, Mitchell and Murray, who had back-to-back 50-point games and all that stuff, they were all overshadowing Kawhi's absolute dominance in the first round. And I believe Kawhi is going to keep it up. I believe, like I mentioned earlier, I don't think anyone in the Nuggets are going to slow him down. Mavericks have one of the worst defenses in the NBA, and the Nuggets are a little better, but I still believe Kawhi turns it up in the postseason. He keeps on proving that he does. So,
yeah. Wait, real quick, just a minute. When you were saying you were gonna go, when you were talking earlier about when you kind of introduced who you were gonna say, and you said you're gonna go to Lakers and opposite around them, I thought you were gonna say the Rockets because opposite in the playoffs. I'm gonna mention Russell Westbrook. He did not show up last season, or not season. I mean, he hasn't showed up in the past seasons. Let's be real. But last couple games, especially when he threw it out of bounds, Game 6. Russell Westbrook. I I didn't really look up. I didn't really expect to have to talk about Russell Westbrook, so I don't really know kind of, his statistical attributes. But I just know from watching Russell Westbrook play against the Thunder, he was obviously kind of thinking the entire game like, imagine losing to the Thunder, because obviously he's never been able to get the Thunder past the first round without Kevin Durant, and the only way he's going to get them past the first round is losing to them. But the Rockets got it done, just like I said, in 7 games, real quick. Just kind of, predicted that 7-game Rockets. But I'm going to say Russell Westbrook has to kind of step up a notch, especially in the second round, especially against the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, you're very right. I believe they're going to double team Harden yet again. And every team has to let Westbrook shoot threes because he's not very consistent at shooting threes. So it's going to be very interesting. I believe the whole series might rely on him. If he can put up what he did in the regular season once Clint Capella left, which was insane numbers, this would be a good series. But if he doesn't, Harden cannot win a series by himself. It's been proven in previous years. So that's a very, very good point. So Elijah keeps on spamming Jamal Murray in the comments about the breakout star and how the Nuggets are underrated. So let's talk about that, why don't we? Do you guys believe that Jamal Murray's breakout will continue in the second round against the Los Angeles Clippers?
Go ahead, Andrew.
All right. I just honestly, and it's really unfortunate, I don't really see Jamal Murray keeping up. How much did he average? He was averaging 26 points against the Jazz with who was guarding him most of the game? Donovan Mitchell, respective. I was going to say Joe Ingles, but it was Donovan Mitchell. But the Clippers proven the perimeter defense. Jamal Murray has to be a perimeter three-point carry, go into the paint, do some shrivel moves, and finish some crazy layups like I used to do in my day. But I don't see Jamal Murray being able to score at will against the Clippers, especially when he's gonna be dribbling. I can just visualize this right now. He's gonna be dribbling up the court, and he's gonna have Kawhi come up on him. He's going to get with the Jokic screen. He's going to get past Kawhi. Boom, Paul George is there. Paul George is probably going to fall over because he's that bad. He's pandemic P. And then, guess who's there after Paul George? If the Pest, I don't even know his name. I don't even want to know his name. If he's
Beverly?
Yeah, the Pest, right? If he is healthy, he's going to be on him. If not, Lou Williams, I don't really think he's that good at defense. Definitely more of a sweet Lou offensive player, but he's a perimeter. He can definitely stop Jamal Murray at the perimeter. So I don't really see Jamal Murray being able to, continue with like 50-point bombs.
Before Ben goes, I'm going to go next actually because he just brought up this. Elijah said he has proven he can carry his team, and this is where I'm going to step in. In the past, and this happened last year, Jamal Murray could go off for 50 on any given night. He could. But he has proven time and time again he is super inconsistent. He is not capable of carrying a team. He's not a superstar. He's not even a star. He's not even an all-star. He will never be an all-star. That's not an opinion fact. I don't think he's ever going to be an all-star. He's not built like that. Not even for now, actually. The West is too deep. There's way too many stars. Maybe further down the line, but as of right now, there's no chance.
Yeah, that's fair in the West.
It is well known that Jamal Murray should not be trusted. He is, and again, he's young, so you don't want to put too much blame on him, but he's very inconsistent. He dropped whatever that was the other night, like 52 or whatever on insane shooting numbers. And then last game, he shot horrific and wasn't as effective. And that's kind of been his whole series. Like, I think last year in Game 7, he made 7 points on like 2 of 18 shooting or something like that. It was horrible. So I don't believe he will carry. Go back to the question. I don't think he's going to do this against the Clippers. Like we just mentioned, we got Patrick Beverly, we got Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, all those people who can pick him up easily. I feel like they're going to easily just let the other players beat him. The Torrey Craigs, whoever the hell is on their team, Gary Harris, all those people, they'll let him shoot. So I think he's going to go back to normal in the next series.
So all three of us have mentioned that the Clippers have a lot of defenders that are capable of stopping Murray. But here's what we're dealing with Jamal Murray. In games 4 through 6, he went 50, 42, 50. And he shot 64%, which is insane. And yet, what?
No,
Incorrect?
Henry's comment was really weird. Continue.
I know. I was reading that. I was like, what? Am I having a stroke? Or I literally, I need to get a life alert. I was reading that because I was like, if I had a life alert, I would be spamming it. 'Cause I could not read what he was saying. But okay, sorry, Ben, continue.
That's all right. So yeah, so that crazy stat line in Game 4 through 6, and yet, as Andrew said, 26. I think he said 26 points per game in the series.
Which real quick, sorry, that was the Joker. Jamal Murray had 31 and a half.
Okay, well, still 31 and a half, and yet he had two 50 pieces and a 40 piece, and that's because he had, I think, 3 games. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think 3 games under 20 points.
Yep.
So like you said, super inconsistent. But to Elijah's point, when he's gotten it when he's needed it, the Nuggets didn't need it in Game 7. It's kind of that X factor of emotion. We saw him after Game 6, I think it was, break down, say his shoes gave him strength. That was really powerful. And so it's kind of that X factor of emotion where you never know on any given night if your team needs it. Like Elijah said, he really wants to win. So that's where I think maybe he could have 1 or 2 games like we've seen. But long story short, I don't think it's going to be enough, like you guys have said.
And I do want to point out with Jamal Murray, I have talked some, not trash, but I've called him out for some things. But what he did the other night when he did drop like the 50 points and he called out his shoes in the last game, Mitchell was on the floor upset and he picked him up. That was very cool. It was a very class act. It was really cool to see. But yeah, so he's a good person. I'm not trying to diss him as a person. I'm just talking about his basketball skills. Just want to make sure that's clear. So most of this stream, we've talked about it. We talked about how the Heat are surprising the Milwaukee Bucks, but why? So what do you guys think is wrong with Giannis?
Ben?
It's been a lot. In the playoffs, he hasn't really proven himself yet that he can show up night in and night out. So as cliche as it might be to say, it could be the pressure, or it could be the fact that their team is just not built to rely on him every night. And when they as a primary scorer, I mean, he's obviously going to do the LeBron thing where he drives in and kicks, but it just doesn't seem like, to me, it's the Bucks style to have, okay, 3 minutes left in the game, we're going to Giannis every possession. You need to get to the basket and score, like a lot of other teams will do. And so I wonder if that's kind of being counterproductive for the Bucks. Or, like I said, it could just be something mental with Giannis. You never know. I don't like to write people off just because they have a couple bad playoffs as a superstar without winning a championship. It's very difficult to win a championship in the NBA. You can be a great player and never do it. But you got to wonder with Giannis, 1 seed for the Bucks again, expected to make the finals again, and can he step up? I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of what you have to say about pressure, a lot of what you have to say about just kind of the I don't know if you mentioned this, but I want to say the lack of help that Giannis really has. I mean, Brook Lopez kind of helping on the defensive side and actually kind of carried the offensive load. I don't know if it was last game or this game. I honestly don't. I don't really care. But I don't really think Giannis is getting the help he needs. And it's kind of funny because the entire Milwaukee Bucks is literally Giannis. They should be called the Milwaukee Giannucks. I don't know. He has a weird name. But it's funny because Giannis has no other reliable player on his team. I mean, what's his name? Kristaps. Oh my God, not Kristaps Porzingis. I don't remember his name. Yeah, Chris Middleton, 22. How did I forget Chris Middleton? He didn't perform game 1. He definitely brought it out game 2. Wait, I don't know if I have the switch. I don't really care because Heat are winning. But I just think it's lack of help on Giannis's end. Like, he cannot carry offense and defense. He's getting dogged on defense, Just in the post, it's kind of ironic that Giannis is getting absolutely dogged on in the post, getting floated on, getting Eurostep, getting just reverse finished at the rim against. I don't know. Maybe he's just not as athletic of a defender as he needs to be against this crazy Miami Heat willy-nilly drive, kick out, pump fake, shoot, kick out to the top of the key, pump fake, shoot a three. I don't think he can stop it by himself.
Before I answer the question, Admiral Alpaca asked, did you talk about Harden putting up 17 yet? No, not really. We technically talked about the game in the next series, but that's another thing for the next series, that Harden does have a history of choking in the playoffs, and in a Game 7, he did not play his best game, and his teammates kind of bailed him out. But we're to go back to topic real quick. The Heat are doing exactly what the Raptors did last year to beat them, and it's working. When the Raptors did it last year, the Bucks went into the offseason like, okay, we know what's wrong. We need shooting around Giannis. That's our problem. So they got Wesley Matthews. They got they kept Kyle Korver. They re-signed Brook Lopez. They re-signed George Hill. They re-signed a bunch of people. Like you said, Lopez is not performing. Middleton, who was an all-star this year, has not been playing like an all-star. He's not had the best playoffs. Bledsoe missed game 1 and then game 2. Bledsoe's not really a three-point shooter. The Heat are clogging the paint, so every time they try to drive the paint, it's always a turnover most of the time. George Hill has been decent, but right now the
George Hill.
Eric Spoelstra has been this coach for a while, but he's out coaching Budenholzer a lot. And the last postseason, it's the same exact thing. The Bucks are running the same thing over and over again. That once the team implements the wall against Giannis, they have no counter for it because they keep on going through the same thing over and over again. And that's showing. The Heat are showing it right now. Adebayo can stop Giannis. Butler, Crowder, all of them switch on to Giannis, and every time it's almost the same thing. Giannis is not himself right now. Elijah put it that it's starting to get in his head, and it is. Like Ben mentioned, they're the first seed. They're supposed to win the East right now. They're supposed to play either Los Angeles team. That's what it's supposed to be all year long. And that might not happen. They might even make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's a huge disappointment. And then that leads to an argument of where everyone's talking about if they miss it, Giannis might leave in 2021. And that's going to be a huge, especially if they get out second round. Oh boy, that's when that's when the talks are to get up. But yeah, right now, Giannis isn't Giannis. And I still believe he could. I believe if he has the right fire under him, he can get back to his old self. But as Andrew said, he needs his teammates' help. They're not winning the series without Middleton putting 20-plus a night. Lopez, he doesn't have to go crazy, but he got to make a couple of threes. Same with everybody else.
DiVincenzo, who is a really good player on the Bucks, and I don't think a lot of people know who he is. He's I think he's number 0. He's the white dude on the team. Very good player. He needs to kind of step up as I don't think he starts. He might start. They might have put him starting because of how good he performed first round. But just want to quickly shout out DiVincenzo.
Yeah, so it's very interesting to see how that thing turns out. So we've been talking about all the next round and and the teams that advanced, how they've done in the first round. But how about the teams that did not advance? We had every year there's about, I think, 8 teams that get eliminated. And now they have to go back home and they won't have access to a team gym, which is kind of a big deal. But I'm going to take this last one first. Which team has the brighter future? I personally think the answer is pretty obvious, and I don't really think it's a debate. It's the Brooklyn Nets. Next year, they got Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving coming back into the picture. The rest of the roster is a huge question mark. There's questions if they're going to trade for another star. There's questions if people can stay healthy, whatever. Same with Kyrie. Kyrie gets hurt a lot. But any team with Kyrie and KD, sign me up. If KD's even 80%, which is most likely he's not going to be back to his old self, but he's one of the best players in the NBA, and I don't think that's really a debate at all. He's one of the best players in the NBA. Kyrie Irving, when healthy, which is a key word, when healthy, is one of the best point guards in the NBA. Karis LeVert struggled this postseason. He didn't have the best shooting percentages, but that's because he was the number 1 option. He'll be the number 3 option next year, potentially.
I think Spencer Dinwiddie.
Spencer Dinwiddie's a great six-man off the bench. If they re-sign Joe Harris, which is huge, he's a great three-point shooter. Jared Allen's solid. I just think that this year they were a 7th seed that barely snuck in, and next year they're an Eastern Conference favorite. So I think
real quick, talking about the Nets, I actually think next year that they will be the 1st seed because I don't see Giannis, especially if they lose to the Heat, I don't see Giannis re-signing with the Bucks because his contract's 2021, right?
He would be with the Bucks next year, but he could leave after.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do a hot take real quick. Woo, woo, woo. I can see the Bucks if they don't beat the Heat, and especially if the Heat kind of embarrass them and beat them in 5 or less games. I could see the Bucks kind of pulling what they did with Kawhi and at San Antonio and trading him with that one. Even though Giannis is very loyal to the Bucks, I can see Giannis kind of having management trade him to a team that he can maybe perform better at, and also the Bucks getting a lot of good things for the future. So that's my hot take, is that Giannis might get traded next year with 1 year left on his contract.
That is not as hot as a take as you think, because if they lose, Giannis will be pissed because he said, I need to win a championship here. Not to stay, but he said, we need to see if we can win a championship. If they lose and Giannis, and he said he cares about Milwaukee. He never said he's staying there for life, but he says he likes the city. He likes the way they treated him. There's a good chance he could go to management and say, hey, I kind of want to get out, but I don't want to leave you guys in free agency for nothing. So if you guys can gauge the market for me and see what you can get, if it's a good piece. And I believe that could happen. It could. It's not a huge possibility. Odds are it won't happen, but it could. You're very right. But Ben, which team do you think has the brighter? Oh, wait, Andrew, did you even answer the question?
No, but Ben, I'll go after Ben.
Okay. Ben, answer.
So I have someone else. If you're talking next year, I agree with you. It's the Nets. But if you're talking like 5 years from now, I gotta say the Thunder. It's all the draft picks they've got and the team they have now. Sure, Chris Paul's not going to last forever, and he's a huge part of that team. But his leadership will be around for the young players they have now and probably the next couple of years. Like, they have a ton of first-round picks and second-round picks, for that matter, due to their Westbrook and Paul George trades. And obviously, Gilgeous-Alexander's getting better. He could become a star.
Schroeder. The number 8. Oh, sorry, Ben.
Sorry.
The number 8 guy, I forgot his name.
Gallinari.
Yeah. He's a really good player.
Yeah, and Steven Adams. That's a good core. I know the West is deep, but in 5 years, things could look a lot different. So if you look beyond the immediate future, I would say the Thunder. But definitely for next year, Nets are a team top 3 in the East, I'd say, without a doubt.
I kind of have to agree with Ben. I don't really want to talk about next year. Yeah, we kind of discussed that with the Nets. But I think as far as the brightest future, I have to go with the Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic is a generational talent. He's the next. He's kind of like Magic Johnson, Larry Bird combination. If he wants to play as Larry Bird, he's literally playing. He's playing 2K in real life. If he wants to play as Larry Bird, he'll go out and he'll start shooting like a madman. If he wants to play like Magic Johnson, he'll drive to the paint and kick it out to Porzingis, who somehow, as a 7-footer, can shoot a 3 as good as any other player in the league. So I don't really know his percentage, but it's kind of what I watch. But I just think that the Mavericks have this season, I don't think they were even expected to kind of perform at the level as the Clippers. I don't think anybody really expected Luka Doncic to hit that buzzer beater with, I think it was a 40-point triple-double, something like that. Wait. Maybe I just got that out of nowhere. I thought I'm pretty sure Luka Doncic got a triple-double with at least 30 in one of the games. But
he had 40, I think. 40-point triple-double.
Yeah, okay, yeah, 40, yeah. Luka Doncic, he's the man. The myth, perhaps the legend.
Yeah, I actually like both of you guys' arguments. I believe both of you guys are actually correct. The Thunder have a very bright future with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and all those people leading the corps. And also, like you said, the Mavericks, actually for both teams, they weren't supposed to be in the playoffs. Nonetheless, go to a Game 6 and Game 7. So they have taken really big strides. They got good coaching. They got some star players to build around. Like you said, some draft picks to build around. It's going to be interesting. Do you guys have any last comments or concerns, questions?
Wait, could we kind of go through our first round predictions and then see like how they matched up with the actual first round? Do you have the first round predictions?
If you guys have yours, I can do it, but I have my own. I don't have your guys's.
Oh, I think I remember mine.
I have mine. Yeah.
Well, I'll go first. So let's see. And I had in the East Bucks in 4. I got the team right, games wrong. Heat in 5, team right, games wrong. Raptors in 5, team right, game wrong. Celtics in 5, team right, games wrong. So I kind of should have just put 5 for Bucks. I was there. West, I had Lakers in 6, team right, game wrong. Thunder, GG, 7, so I got team wrong, game right. Clippers in 6, and I got Nuggets in 7. So boom, I got 2 perfect.
Nice. Ben, I'm kind of having to go through and mentally. Do you have yours written or no?
Yeah. I had Bucks in 4, off by 1. Raptors in 5, off by 1. Celtics in 4, I got that one right. Heat in 6, I was off by 2. Lakers in 6, off by 1. Mavs in 7, didn't quite hit on that one. Wish Porzingis was healthy. Nuggets in 6, I was off by 1. Thunder in 7, just like Daniel had.
Yeah, I'll start with the East. I had the Bucks in 4. They won. They won in 5. Game 1 Magic. I don't know why I just always forget Game 1 Magic. Like, I don't know the NBA Classic teams, but they got to have a Game 1 Magic on their NBA 2K, the 2K teams. But I had the Heat in 6. I had the Heat in 6. They won in 5, right?
4.
They won in 4. Oh yeah. Jeez. Yeah, I had the Heat in 6. They won in 4. I had the Celtics in 6. They won in 4. I really did not expect Joel Embiid just to shut down. They need to trade him. But that's for a future.
We'll discuss that for another video.
Yeah, that's a future video. That'll be fun. Like talking about what teams should do. Raptors. I had Raptors in 4. That was right. The Lakers. I had Lakers in 4. They took 5. They wanted to give Carmelo Anthony a little bit of rejuvenation of his career, which I respect. LeBron and him are friends, so that's a lot. That's a noble act from the king. Rockets in 7. I had that. Nuggets in 6. I had Nuggets in 6. I won in 7, and I had Clippers in 6. They won in 6. So
that's pretty good.
I think I got 3 of them.
There you go. Perfect. So we will have a stream someday soon. Don't quite know when it will be. We are adjusting schedules based off what's going on in real life and also some school, family, all that problems. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the second round of the playoffs. There should be some good games, including like today was a good example. I am Boston C17, enjoying with Andrew and Ben, and we will see you guys next time.
Lakers in